On Tuesday, May 14th, 2019, we met Gerald and Patricia Carr. Jerry was a Marine Corps fighter pilot and then a NASA astronaut. He visited Germany and Hungary during the Cold War. Pat did a series of paintings called The Continuum. Together, they traveled to Berlin a year after the collapse of the wall. They talked to us about their experiences during the Cold War.
The Cold War to me means a case where at the end of the Second World War, we were still not trusting each other. The Russians, the Americans, the British, and the French were not trusting each other, particularly the Russians. And so we began to partition ourselves off from one another. And the beginning of it had to do with the partitioning of Germany after the defeat of Germany, and it's kind of like the spoil system after a war. You know, everybody got a piece of Germany. And what they were going to do with it was what nobody knew. So that's basically the Cold War for me. It's a situation where people didn't trust each other, and so they kind of split each other up, split things up, and stayed away from each other.
I had a friend who asked what was my opinion of the Vietnam War, and I said, I don't really have an opinion. I realized I'm making myself sound pretty stupid here. And he said, well, you can't not have an opinion. You have to get an opinion. So that was the beginning of what I call my social awareness. Our school did not have air raid drills, but our neighborhoods did. The town organized the districts and had volunteers attend an air raid warden school. And I was 15 and I volunteered for that. I was the air raid warden for about an 8-block area in our neighborhood, and went to school and learned CPR and emergency measures.
Well, I guess the man I admired the most was Dwight Eisenhower, who was President of the United States.
I would pick Franklin Delano Roosevelt. Even as a very young child, I had a tremendous admiration for him. Jerry and I had the opportunity to see the wall, and it was a very, very powerful time. It was 1991. It still brings tears to my eyes. We walked through Checkpoint Charlie and went into East Berlin. There was still rubble from that war in the streets. Had never been cleaned up. There was very little color. Everything was brown and gray and black. The buildings, the people's clothing, and very little light. Very few even street lamps. Compared to what we left in West Berlin, which was kind of like New York City.
I think the other thing was had a happiness and unhappiness.
Yes.
The people in the East Berlin were very unhappy. They all looked depressed, and they kind of matched their surroundings, the gray walls and the rubble and all that. Whereas people on the West German side were active and busy and happy.
So